What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chronicles of a Chef. I'm Scott Hamilton, and today we are going to do another freezer dive. This one's a little different. Instead of having the freezer be our focus of what we're going to cook with, instead I'm using produce from my parents who went on vacation. We're like, hey, we got this produce for you to use. We got some asparagus and some broccoli, some potatoes, onions, and peppers for you to use. Snag them and use them. Life got to me, and by the time I got there, broccoli, asparagus, no good. So we took the peppers, the sweet potatoes, and the onions, and then I dove in my freezer. I found an open bag of broccoli and some meatballs. And I was already kind of in that mindset of, I want like broccoli, chicken kind of casserole deal. So we came up with a lentil meatball pesto casserole soup thing. I don't know. It's delicious. So let's get cooking. All right, let's get going on this like lentil meatball freezer dive casserole. I'm going to start sauteing things off so that it can cook a little bit faster in the oven, and I want to develop some flavors in the pan before we get it into our casserole dish. So I got my pan. It should be nice and ripping hot. Ooh, yeah. We got the nice beading. Gonna hit it with a little bit of avocado oil here. All right, our oil is acting more like water, the way that it's running around the pan and movement-wise, meaning it's a little bit more loose. So our oil is nice and hot, pan's hot. We're gonna throw in a small diced onion. This onion was left by my mom when they went on their vacation. It was on its last leg, so I had to cut a little bit out of the inside. I think it's gonna be just fine. We're gonna cook it up. It's still gonna be delicious. So I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of salt. And I'm really just looking to get some good color and cook these things about 50%-ish of the way there. I'm not too stressed. We're going to put it in the oven and it's going to cook away. But we're going to get flavors developing here and let it all finish and come together in the pan. With these, I'm going to throw in my mushrooms. These mushrooms were left over from my cocoa bourbon video, and they're a little wrinkly. They just need to get used up, and there was only like 4 of them, 5 of them maybe, and so it's kind of like, what are we doing here? Let's use them up and just load this little casserole situation with tons of veggies that need to get used, and it's going to turn out delicious. Yeah. We get a little bit of caramelization on those mushrooms. I love that. Next, I'm adding a sweet potato that my parents left before they went on their trip. I figured, why not? It's beautiful color. It's delicious. I think getting a little caramelization on these sweet potatoes before it goes into the casserole is going to really amp up that flavor of the sweet potato and that sweetness to go against the basil and the pesto and all those kinds of things. It's going to be good. Even though the pan is pretty crowded for sauteing, I'm still going with that sauteing mindset, meaning I want everything in a nice thin layer. I want all the vegetables in here to have a great point of contact with the pan, and I want to let it sit there. That point of contact is going to make sure that we get a really good sear on it and get a nice crust and caramelization. The more you move it around, the harder it is to get that sear, because every time a new side hits, it's got to readjust the temperature, and every time you give this a little bit of a stir, the heat is going to go out of the pan and up into the air rather than into your ingredients. So it's going to slow down the cooking process and make that caramelization process harder to reach. There we go. We're getting a little bit of a fond building up, and that is perfectly fine. We will deglaze as needed and when we need. There we go. We're getting some nice little caramelization bits here and there. I'm loving that. So I think we're getting a good start on these sweet potatoes. I cut these sweet potatoes pretty small because I wanted to ensure that they'll cook all the way through while baking and everything else is cooking. Still very raw. It's about 30-40% of the way there, which is exactly where I want it. We're getting some good little fond bits down here on the bottom. So I have some beef bone broth here, since I'm using beef meatballs. And we're going to do a little deglazing action. Get all that delicious flavor up from the bottom. And then we're going to let that cook down and kind of cook off and almost turn into a little bit of a glaze to glaze these vegetables. And then we'll continue to add the rest of our vegetables. We're going to throw in our bell peppers. One of those bell peppers was from my parents that they had left behind. And we're like, oh, use this. One of the bell peppers that they left, I couldn't use. It was too far gone. But it's okay. This is going to be delicious. And hit with a little bit of salt. I'm going to throw our tomatoes in because we're towards the end of our cooking. We're not wanting to cook the peppers too long because we don't want them to overcook, and same with our tomatoes. We want to make sure that they finish their cooking and do the majority of their cooking in our casserole dish. Now, normally I'm like seasonings and I'm doing all sorts of stuff. Today I'm keeping it simple. I have this steakhouse butter left over that I need to use up. So we're gonna take about, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon and a half, throw that in there. It has chilies, it has spices, it has herbs. I don't know, it tastes pretty good. And I think that it's gonna build out a great flavor profile in this dish. Gonna hit it with a little bit more stock, kind of get that fawn and everything off the bottom of this pan. Oh yeah. Now I'm not using any cream of mushroom soup, any cream of chicken, any of that. So instead I'm gonna do about 2 tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons of some cream cheese in here to kind of give that creamy essence and that cheesy essence that you would normally find in like a broccoli chicken casserole. And I'm gonna mix it in now so that I can have it mixed through, and then we'll stir this in with the lentils and all that kind of fun. Not looking for a whole lot, just enough to give it that tang and that creamy vibe. You could also use like a goat cheese. You could use sour cream or a plain Greek yogurt. There's all sorts of options. I just had this cream cheese. It's on the older side and I need to use it up, so we're using it. Oh yeah, that is looking absolutely delicious. We're gonna throw in our broccoli. It was like the end of the bag and it's broccoli bits. So there's stem, there's broccoli florets, everything is in there. And ooh, yeah, look at all the colors. And that's just all the veggies. I don't know if this is going to fit in my oven. We might have to split this into 2 pans and see what's going to go on. But it's going to be delicious. I know that. Hit it with a little bit of salt. I know that pesto is normally like a finishing kind of vibe, but we are going to put it all in right now. And I'm going to do 2 heaping. I'm going to use the rest of the jar because it was really about 3-ish tablespoons. And again, this jar, I needed to use it up. We've got a theme here. We're using the last bits of things here and there to make a delicious freezer dive casserole meal that I think is going to turn out absolutely divine. We got a runaway. Oh. We're doing green lentils, and I was reading the package. I don't cook a lot with lentils, so this is going to be fun to experiment. It says about 3 to 4 cups of water to boil lentils until you get them to the consistency. So I've started with about 4 cups of stock, and we're going to use it throughout most of the process, and the last of it will go into this. I've rinsed these and all that kind of stuff, so no worries there. To make my life easy, I'm going to throw in my lentils into here just so we can get everything mixed, because I think I'm going to have an easier time mixing in this pan rather than in the casserole dish. Another pinch of salt, some fresh cracked pepper. Oh no, my pepper grinder needs to get charged. It's a funny and wild concept to me that I need to charge my pepper grinder. Okay, we're gonna hit it with about half our stock here. So we're at approximately 2-ish cups of stock that we've used. You can just go with regular water, but to me, why not add some more flavor? All right, that is looking beautiful. I don't think that all of this is gonna fit in here, but I also don't know if this 9x13 is gonna actually fit in my oven. We'll see. It has to go in at an angle, but it'll go in. All right. We've got our full 9x13 situation here. I'm gonna give this a little spray. We're gonna pour this guy right in. Oh yeah. All right. Smooth that guy out. We want all that flavor in there. We're gonna go ahead and use the rest of the stock because I'm not really sure exactly what's gonna happen, and I'd rather have a little bit too much liquid than not enough and have it be raw lentils. Next, I've got our meatballs. I cut it out 20 meatballs. So this is all kind of like a serving for 4. I did a cup of lentils. We got 20 meatballs, a sweet potato, an onion, some leftover bell peppers, all sorts of deliciousness. And I'm gonna put the meatballs kind of on top and let everything else kind of go. When doing a casserole or something where you need kind of things to steam and good moisture trapped inside, a lot of people are just gonna go straight to the aluminum foil or a cling wrap, plastic wrap kind of situation. Do both. The reason why we do both is your plastic wrap is gonna get real sticky and kind of melty. And if you just put it over the top, it's gonna balloon up because it gets a good cling, it's a good seal, and then it might drop and it gets stuck to food. So aluminum foil comes in. Obviously, aluminum foil is gonna help keep heat in and all those kinds of fun things, but it's also gonna give the cling wrap something to stick to. So this will pull off and the cling wrap will come with it, so that way it's not touching your food or anything. and it gives you a better seal than aluminum foil alone. All right. There is our pesto meatball lentil casserole, crimped up, ready to go. I got the oven preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to throw it in. Because I pre-cooked the vegetables, I think that it's going to take in the like 30 to 40 minute range. If you didn't cook the vegetables, it would most likely take more in like the 40 to 60. And if you didn't have any vegetables in it, just like lentils by itself, they typically take like 20 to 30 minutes. So I think we'll be right there in that middle range of about 30 to 40. So I'm going to check it in a half hour and see how we're doing. All right, we're officially at the 30-minute mark. Let's take a look-sees to see how we are doing. Ooh, I think it needs to go a little bit longer because we got a decent amount of liquid in here. If I get this come off, there we go. Ooh, we got a decent amount of liquid down here. So we're gonna let it go for another 30 minutes because I think that the liquid wasn't hot enough when we got in. I think half this cook time is really getting the liquid in here hot enough. All right, let's check this thing out. Oven temperature, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the lentils, I don't know. Woo, hot. If it's me, if I'm the problem, oven's problem. But, ooh, there we go. That looks a lot better. All right. It still has a lot of liquid though. Let's check these guys out. Lentils are much closer to being done. We still have a ton of liquid that I'm not really like sure what's going on. I think that I misinterpreted the instructions a little bit with the amount of liquid, but I think it's going to be A-okay. Everyone, don't stress. Broccoli chicken casserole has cheese over the top. I don't have like yellow cheddar right now with me or any of that, but I do have this like Comtesse. It's like a aged Gouda. It's a little bit more nutty, a little bit firmer, a little bit more in the direction of Parmesan and things like that. It's nice and nutty, and I think, caramely and nutty. And I think that this grated over the top. I'm just gonna eat this piece. Oh yeah, that has money. Little crystals in there. I think that this grated over the top will be delightful. How much cheese? To your heart's content. All right, now I did crank the oven up to like 425 for 30 minutes, and I feel like it finally did all the things that I was hoping and thought it would do while having the oven set to 350. So now we know. I still have it at 425, so it's nice and hot. And we're gonna throw this back in the oven to let this cheese kind of melt and crisp up, and hopefully let some of that liquid that's in here evaporate. So we have this delicious casserole. But either way, the lentils that I did taste tasted great. But let's get this in the oven and see what's going on. Okay, still got a decent amount of excess liquid that I think that's gonna kind of soak in. Everything else looks done. Oh, that is steamy. All right, so things went a little awry, and I think our ratios were a little off. The flavor is really, really good. Lentils are cooked all the way through. Everything's, I think, really good there. It's kind of more of like a lentil soup rather than a casserole, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and give ourselves some nice big scoops here. And then I want some of this like broth situation. I mean, it's still like, it looks beautiful. And who knows, maybe like as things kind of sit, this broth will kind of soak in, and when I go to reheat it for dinner tonight for my kiddos, it'll be a little bit better. But I mean, I'm not unhappy about it. But I do think a wee bit more cheese. Because obviously, cheese is delicious. All right, let's dig in on this guy here. So, I mean, obviously we talked about like it's a little soupy. I think it's gonna turn out okay. All the vegetables are cooked beautifully, and I'm not worried about that. The broth is absolutely delicious. I've kind of like sipped on it here and there. Oh man, that's good. Let's get one of these meatballs. Flavor-wise, this thing is killer. I mean, texturally wise, it's a little off with how brothy it turned out to be. I think going a little bit more like a cream cheese or a sour cream yogurt scenario might have been better and less broth. And the cooking, I think going in at 425 and really just like cranking and like ripping and going at it would be way better. The lentils cooked beautifully, but I'm really excited for the meatball and this extra little Comtesse cheese. I'm excited for this. The pesto brings in just the right perfect like flavor all the way through. That butter that we used, the steakhouse butter, Has garlic and a little bit of chili notes, so there's a little bit of heat in it, but not too aggressive. It's really well balanced, and I think that even though it's a little on the brothy side, I think a little piece of toast to go with this would be delicious. Will it toast? We'll have to see. I've been wanting to eat lentils more often. My boys have been asking about it, as we're trying new things and experimenting and all this kind of stuff. And I think they're going to be really stoked for this. I love the texture of them. I was really nervous about it turning into like a mush, because a lot of times when I've had lentils, they get really mushy. But I've been able to keep them pretty whole, and it tastes like I'm just eating a bunch of little tiny beans, and it tastes delicious. Yeah, this is delicious all day. Let me know down in the comments if you want a full-on recipe for this, so it's a more of like a staple meal that you can make ahead of time in that meal prep kind of vibe. I think that this is a great, like, make it on Sunday. Now you got leftovers throughout the week. There are so many great opportunities for something like this, and I'll throw it away. And all these vegetables, easy to rotate them through. No stress in there. This is delicious. I had a fun time making it. Even though we hit some bumps in the road, this has been a blast to make. I hope that this inspires you to pull some random things out of your freezer, grab that vegetable before it goes bad, and try to make something with it and experiment and have some fun. Like, subscribe, do all those fun things, and we'll see you next time.